Hello, y'all. How you doing? What's up? Guten Tag, bonsoir. I should have looked up how you say good evening in Swedish, and I didn't, so I suck. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and welcome to yet another episode of Mattitude, where we talk about, you guessed it right, Eurovision. And it is a special night. I mean, every night is special, but because this is the night before Eurovision rehearsals, you heard it right. We are going to delve into a lot of the stuff that's happening on site and everywhere, giving updates, our thoughts, our predictions. I have a lot of topics listed up, or not too many, because I'll be on live stream a lot. But let's first of all, thank you so much for everyone who is actually has took time aside to talk to me tonight. And so tonight it's only going to be me, but with rehearsal starting tomorrow, we'll have a bigger team. I'll be here all day, of course, but then we have other team members switch in and out, but more on that later. The most important thing that you need to know now, as of today, this is the first live stream of the 2024 Eurovision rehearsal shenanigans, whatever you want to call it, will be live every single day up until the bitter end or the happy end, depending on your perspective. That means the Sunday, at least after Eurovision, will be online every day, live streaming. Not just live streaming, but we have our live coverage on Twitter, on Facebook, I guess we got to go back into TikTok and all of that stuff. Although apparently it's being banned in America, so a different story. And but the point is, there is a lot of coverage every single day, and I could not be more excited. So there are some things that I will need to address today. Some good stuff, some bad stuff. Not bad. Bad stuff's always not bad. Like just honest. It's a night of honesty. So we'll go for that right away. I do see a lot of people in the chat already. I see a lot of people from different places saying hi. And somebody says I look cute today. I'm like, thank you. So I'm also running a little bit behind in live because I was just in Chicago for 4 days for work. So I came back late last night, and so I had very little time to prepare much for this Eurovision season this past week, which kind of sucked. But sleeping is for the boring people. So I'll say let's jump right into the topics, and I would love to get your questions as well through all of this throughout the evening, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. And then again, over the next couple of weeks, of course, we're going to have Roy and Gabe and Connor and a lot of people on my team you may have not met before, because a lot of people wanted to join the live stream as well, a team on ESC United who often don't get the opportunity to be here, just chit and chat. And I want to have them at least the first week during rehearsals around as well. Even though they may not be accredited for Eurovision, they can still talk about the rehearsals that we get publicly from the internet, meaning TikTok and Reddit and all of this stuff. So there is already a very good first questions that comes up by Movie Man, who from the team is in Malmo. So let's address the elephant in the room. So and I want to make this so we have, first of all, locally, I know we have Melanie, we have Gabe, we have Roy, we have David, we have a lot of friends, others, like accredited people there. Some other people from the team you may not know on the live stream, but they're going to be locally in Malmo as well. They all arrive at different points in time throughout this next 2 weeks. Not everyone's going to be there on tomorrow, but throughout the next week, they're all arriving. So certainly in time for all the dress rehearsals that we can actually see. So of course, you're going to ask when I am going to be there. As you all know, I was not around for like 6 months due to health reasons. And after much soul searching and discussion with doctors, this since 2013 is the first time I will not be on site for Eurovision. So I am sitting this year out, but I will have online access and reporting on everything that is Eurovision. I'm very, very sad. It hits me hard because I've been doing this for over a decade now, and not being there in Malmö, seeing all my friends, it hurts. And it hurts. That's dramatic. It's upsetting. It's sad, and was not a decision I have to take lightly. Two things. Number one, my decision to not go to Malmö is not political. It is completely just based on my own health situation. Everything else is just a coincidence. So I just want to point that out. Number two, is I'll be back, in the famous words of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's not that I am going to retire, close one, retire from Eurovision. I actually just it's just sometimes you have to put myself first, but I'll be here throughout the entire 2 weeks. As well. Somebody also puts, do we have a schedule for the close rehearsals? I will talk. Stop stealing my thunder, Magdalena. That is the next thing I am going to talk about, or one of the next things, actually. So the answer is yes. So we'll talk about that as well. But again, I'll be here in beautiful LA, rooting from a distance to all my friends that I don't get to see, not just ESC United, but all the other folks that I don't get to see in person this time around. It sucks. We have a local team, though, so we'll have people in the arena and get all the juicy stuff. And I'll just get to be here doing videos, watching it all unfold online. And next year, wherever we're going, I will, hopefully at least, I'll be able to go. The only thing, that I wouldn't say silver lining is I went to Malmo in 2013. So it's not like I haven't been to Malmo yet. So even though it sucks, at least it's not like I'm missing a city I haven't seen before. So that is one good thing. So yeah, that will be the team locally, or on site, I should say. And I will be here, your remote busy bee, making sure that everything else is going to taken care of. And we're going to go do all the stuff that we've done before and more, hopefully. So somebody asked about the rehearsal schedule. I had some screenshots up, but so I see. Thank you, Austria, for also putting the link in there. I will bring up. If I know how to go do it, just for the next few days. So as said, tomorrow is when the rehearsals kick off. Which is a little earlier than we've done in the year priors. Although we had a time where it started Saturday, but then things changed with COVID and all of that stuff. So now we're starting extra early, and I know there's going to be like a day off in between, kind of thing. So I had these graphics ready, but they're a little blurry. So I will probably switch to the link that Aussie Rose provided in the chat. Kindly just give me 1 second while I'm bringing that up. But it starts tomorrow. It's going to be broken. As those who don't know, rehearsals, each country gets to rehearse twice individually. So there's the first individual rehearsal, a second individual rehearsal, and then there are dress rehearsals throughout the second week. And each country, of course, gets to do that. And the first run through is, of course, that's a little longer. Each country, I mean, when you rehearse, even like when we did have access, we only got to see the 30 minutes on stage they're rehearsing. We didn't get to see all the other shenanigans, the sound checks and the walkthroughs. They're doing that for hours and hours and all of that stuff. So it's not just we're just going to show up to rehearse. No, they have to go through the entire process. So let me bring up this thing here. So as you can see, tomorrow, Saturday, April 27th, you will have the first half of the first semi-rehearse at 10:30 is when Cyprus will take the stage until 11 o'clock. Once again, none of the press has access to these individuals' rehearsals anymore. And now only the Eurovision team will put up a short clip of the rehearsals and some pictures, of course, on their live blog, which is apparently now on Reddit, I saw yesterday. And we'll share that with you live here during our live stream as well, and then react to it throughout the day. Those clips usually in the past, at least, did not show up right away. I remember on the first day in particular, it took very, very long for these clips to come up. So we will be live after the first round of rehearsals. So probably between Ireland and Ukraine, we can look for all of that stuff together and talk it through. And then we'll continue that throughout the day. So as you can see, Cyprus, Serbia, Lithuania, Ireland, Ukraine, Poland, and Croatia, the first half of Semi-1 will rehearse. And then Sunday, I'm stupid. There you go. Sunday, we'll have the second half of Semi-1, Iceland, Slovenia, Finland, Moldova, Azerbaijan, Australia, Portugal, and Luxembourg rehearse. And same process, same concept. I actually thought, since the Big Five and the direct qualifiers are like in the running order, even though they're not, you cannot vote for them. They're still part of the running order, basically, that they would rehearse now with them, but I guess they don't want them to be there this early. So they still get their own rehearsal slot at this point. So, and then once again, then Monday will be the first half of Semi 2. I don't have to read you the countries. Then on Tuesday, it will be the second half of Semi 2. So then each semifinalist has rehearsed at least once for 30 minutes. They get 30 minutes. During those 30 minutes, usually how it works is they do one run through, 3 minutes. They already had the stand-in rehearsals. Now they're going to do like the individual performers, right? The actual acts rehearse once for 3 minutes, and then the team gets together and looks at the 3 minutes and makes some changes. So usually they rehearse once, then there's like a 7 to 8 or 10-minute break while they're watching it and discussing, and then they usually get to go twice more. So usually they only do 3 run-throughs during those 30 minutes. Sometimes 4 if you're really, really lucky, but that's rare. Sometimes only because their technical difficulties, they only get to go twice. But usually it's on average 3 times 3 run-throughs. So we don't get to see them, as pointed out, except for the little, not Reddit, what do you call it, TikTok clip that they will provide to us. And then once all of these countries have rehearsed once, as pointed out, they get to rehearse a second time, the second individual rehearsal. Those are similar, except shorter. So instead of 30 minutes, each country only gets 20 minutes to rehearse. They don't do as many pauses and breaks because they're getting a little bit more comfortable with the whole stage setup and camera work and all that stuff. So they have 20 minutes to rehearse, usually also 3 performances throughout those 20 minutes, sometimes 4 if you get lucky and you go through it fast. But on average, I would say 30 is basically 3 is usually what we can expect from these countries. So where were we? Oh, yeah. So Tuesday, April 30th is the last first round. So when you go to Wednesday, you can see they're going to add so it's going to be the entire, that's a long day. Holy smokes. The entire first semi. That's usually not how they do it, but this time they're like, get her done. That's what they're saying. The entire first semi gets to rehearse for the second time. As you can see, 20 minutes for each country, and then take a 5-minute break, because in the first round, as you see, I think there were 15-minute breaks in between. Now it's only 5 minutes. So they have Cyprus rehearsed like, la, 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 you're a liar, liar, liar. And they're like, okay, off you go, get off. And then they bring on Serbia. And then they do the same thing, like boom, 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 boom. It's really fast, really exhausting, but really fun usually. But we once again do not get to see it, but at least we get more clips this time around, some camera work as well, and we're going to judge those as well. So, oh, JJ is in the chat. What's up, my friend? I am very, very sad that I'm not going to be there, but please take care of my team, okay? I'm counting on you. And then on Thursday, the next day, we have a lot of about the first half of the second semi rehearse for the second time, as you can see, second rehearsal. And then they're moving on to the big 5 who get to rehearse for the first time. Difference is these countries only get to rehearse for 20 minutes. They get 30 minutes because this is their first run through. So this is another very, very long day for rehearsals. And that's basically the sitch. Then on Friday will be a little shorter day because we packed all of these other semis like, nobody's business. We got Friday here, just what's left from the second semi to rehearse for a second time. So it starts at 10:30 only until around 2:30. And then we're done with rehearsals. But we here in the press, the fan media, we are never done. So don't you worry. But it's just for you to kind of see how they rehearse. And then on Saturday, the big 5 will rehearse for the second time, also get 20 minutes. And then we are done. And Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, is also when the press center opens. And then they're closed again on Sunday. As you can see, there's nothing happening on Sunday in terms of rehearsals that we can see. They may have some rehearsals of other stuff in the behind the scenes maybe, but nothing like official. And because on Sunday also is the big event, the red carpet, blue carpet, turquoise carpet, pink carpet. What carpet is it this year? I don't even know. Somebody help me. What is the carpet color this time around? The whole, it's of all the acts walk through and all that stuff. So that's happening on Sunday, and then they're going to have party afterwards. They have a gathering and all of that stuff. And then Monday, Turquoise again. Thank you, GJ. I thought it was turquoise. For some reason in my head, I had turquoise, but I'm like, wait, wasn't that some other time? So yes, that is the color. So on Monday, then we have the first dress rehearsals take place. As you can see, at 3 o'clock, we'll have the first dress rehearsal one. And the dress rehearsal one is the first rehearsal that the press is able to access. We can get into the arena if you're on site. Not me, because I'm online, but my team will be there. And then some of us will be covering that from online perspective as well. We get to see the whole run through, the whole shenanigans for the entire show. There will be, keep in mind, it's still, even though it's a whole show, it's still called a rehearsal. So if you freak out too much about some little mini mishaps, stop it. People tend to be too nervous about that kind of stuff. Now, you can get an idea if you don't really like the staging, that might be a little concerned about the voice and all that stuff, but little things there and there, don't freak out about it too much. And GJ, actually, I think I'm so glad to have you in the chat. Those times are wrong. I heard different things here. I thought they were an hour later, but I'm not 100% sure. So I was surprised to see that here. Oh, 15:45 CSTs. Thank you for that. I thought it was a little later for that. So I thought so too, but I didn't want to call them out here on live stream. No, you did. So, but my point still stands, right? Just at a different time. And then 1:30. Okay, thank you for that. Oh, sorry, I'm reading stuff. So for Tuesday, so this is the first rehearsal, right? That's where the we can get in the press and see it for the first time. The second dress rehearsal, in the past, at least for the semis, used to be the jury show. Since we don't have juries voting in the semis no more, this will only be a good old-fashioned rehearsal. This will have an audience. So people can actually buy tickets and watch that thing. In the grand final, the second dress rehearsal will be the jury show. So, but for the semis, since we don't have juries, we don't really have juries voting unless you call like some backup voting kind of thing, you know. But not like, it's not going to impact for most part the voting. Something very important. And then on Tuesday, May 7th, we have the third and final dress rehearsal 3. Once again, just a whole run through of the whole thing. Yeah, that's what I mean, GJ. It's not true. The jury's to vote in case a backup is needed. San Marino is a good point. San Marino still has the jury kind of thing. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, now it's not like it's not going to affect the vote as much. But it's important to point out one thing. Like in the first dress rehearsal and the third dress rehearsal, people usually don't give as much steam, right? The acts, they may hold back a little in case they have like to hit big notes and all that stuff to save their voice. In the second dress rehearsals, they usually give a little bit more energy. So it is a fair point to point out, even though we most likely not going to have an impact, they're still going to do a little more than usual during the second dress rehearsal. So, and that is basically how it's going to go down. And then again, the third dress rehearsal is the day before the live show, a few hours before the live show, and then at 9 o'clock we have the semifinal one that you all get to see as well. And of course, we have live streams throughout all these periods as well. And then we're going to repeat the same shenanigans for semi 2 on Wednesday. Press will be accessing dress rehearsal 1, and then we can see the others through our press access. And then we have the semifinal 2. And that one is, also at 9 o'clock. And up here, we're going to have then the same thing kind of for the grand final on Friday. The first dress rehearsal starts at 1:30. And just, I know, GJ, you mentioned earlier 3:30. So that's actually correct, 1:30. Right? No, it's 1:30. So that one is correct. You can see there's no end time. The reason for that is probably, maybe they forgot it, but I know the first dress rehearsal in particular, they are notorious to run over because, there are all these pauses in between. And that is normal. I've seen it for 10 years. It's nothing to worry about. And then they're going to do the dress rehearsal 2 on Friday. This is a very important show, at least, because that one has the juries voting, because we have juries in the finals. They will base their votes will be based on dress rehearsal number 2. So if you mess up there, the odds are that you may please the juries less. And then last but not least, on the last day, same thing, dress rehearsal 3. And then we have the live show, and then we have a winner. And then it's all over. And then we're going to focus on 2025. That is how it goes. So a lot of people also ask me questions here about Inevitable Act, we can talk about that later. But that is just kind of how the flow works at Eurovision. And yes, I will be live. My team, we will be live every day throughout these 2 weeks. Plus, of course, our content stuff that we provide during the year as well. So we have multiple things that you can watch and read until we have a winner. So that was the first thing, and I was in Chicago for 4 days for work. I mentioned you that, so I was out of the loop. I had zero time because I was just working, 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 and then I went to Second City, the comedy club, because I love comedy. And then I had to fly back. So I know that there was a video released for the stage work, and guess what? I have not seen it yet. So I am going to share it with you real quick here right now, courtesy of SVT, which I'm going to put in there as well. I'm just going to put, unfortunately, I cannot fast forward through the clip. So I'm just going to play it real quick. And then when I put on demand, then I put the credit in there as well. But thanks to SVT for putting this together. I get to see it. Okay, so I think everything is muted. I didn't realize that. All right, so let me. That is wow, wow, y'all, wow, y'all. That looked amazing. That goes. I remember being there in 2013, and I just remember those IKEA lights at the ceiling. I was like, okay, that's Sweden and Eurovision. I know they're trying to go with the budget, but I was like, I was not impressed. So this time around, I was like, that looks amazing. That has so much depth, right? When you have those boxes hanging there, and it looks very futuristic. Like it almost looks like AI. I shouldn't be saying that because everyone's freaking out about AI, but that is. And I know the arena. I know it looks like I've been there. It's not like the biggest arena in the world. So the fact that they were able to put that together in there, whoa, this is certainly one of the better stages for sure. I am very, very happy about that. Yeah, I am. Well, I mean, of course, they may mess it up live. Now, this looks very good. No sun getting stuck. We'll never let go of Italy. I know it's not fair. So yeah, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So I'm a fan. I know that I want to see how the flags of the countries, how they're being reflected and shown on there. They have so much potential to look good, really, really nice. So I think SVT, good job on the stage. Thumbs up. I also find it funny because I keep forgetting that that we no longer have a the not logo, the motto, the slogan changing every year. It's always now United by Music, which is a funny coincidence because we're ESC United. That's free advertisement. Thank you, EBU, for keeping that particular slogan forever. That was funny to me as well. So, if you keep asking, thank you. Any questions at ESC United in the chat so I can see them? And I may not have answered too many right now because there's so much content I wanted to go through real quick with you all because there's a lot going on. But yeah, that is basically just me being really, really excited. So let me take a look at the thing that I wanted to talk about. There's one thing I needed to address and make it actually, before I do that, somebody asked a good question, what the green room will be. You know what? Somebody talked about them before, and I have limited knowledge of the green room because again, this time around I was so busy. But I remember in 2013, actually, we had a different green room in a different building. I actually got tickets for the green room because all the acts were sitting in the center, and then they could give out tickets to some of their favorites. And I pretend I was on their favorites, but they gave us tickets to sit in the green room for one of the semis, which was still one of my least favorite moments because I remember we got it from the team San Marino. They were really kind to us, and we were sitting right behind them, and it was the corner of losers. I remember. We were sitting right behind San Marino. They did not qualify. Then over there was Switzerland. They did not qualify. Over next to the right was North Macedonia. They did not qualify. So it was just like, oh, and it was like I was just like Zach was there was my buddy Zach. Let's get out of here. This is very, very depressing. So the only thing I know is people saying it's behind the state screen. That I didn't know because then the smart thing is that they can put more people in there, but how that's going to work, they're probably going to come in, all that stuff. I don't know. I was a little bit out of the loop, but that was an interesting experience. I just always love to tell because it was not, it was so depressing. But back to my point that I was going to make. So as I pointed out, we'll have live streams throughout all of this. You know, the next 2 weeks we have video content coming out. Of course, we have coverage, you know, content written and all of that stuff. You name it. The thing I wanted to point out, we have a very diverse team. We have a very, very multicultural group, and I know y'all here. There will be always the bad apples. We have zero issues banning bad apples who are trying to ruin the experience. We have people from other countries in there. We may have people from Israel. We have people from countries that you may have an issue with. And we are always about about people. If you have any issues, problems with the government, with organizations, feel free to do so. But we are still people and we're all here to celebrate the music. And I do not want individuals attacked. You don't know what their positions are and their beliefs. And I hope you will actually be respectful towards everyone because it's just like me. I live in America, right? It's pretty safe to say that America is pretty a big warmongering little country. And America has done a lot of bad things in the world and still does with a lot of the wars that we love to start and do. And that doesn't mean I'm a bad person or a lot of Americans are bad people. So I hope you're going to have the same approach about that as well. So I will also then ask people who, you know, over the next few days, as we the chat. I know we have some more active mods, but not everyone can be around at all times. So if you want to help with some moderation here in the chat throughout the next week, let me know. We want to make sure that this will be a collaborative and fun experience, not an attack session. And that is very, very important to me. And if you want to help out, just let me know throughout the days. And that is just something I wanted to point out. So let's talk this a little bit through here. So the first thing I want to see, because tomorrow the rehearsals start. So one thing that will happen tomorrow probably is when we see a lot of shifts or some shifts in the betting odds, because people get some little bit of a vibe. People like to go crazy with all of these things. And hopefully that's going to be a fun experience to see that shift. But before we do, I want to take one last look at the betting odds and see where we're at. The final betting odds before rehearsal. So let's bring this up together while I'm clicking on this. And because I haven't looked at it in a couple of days, or like even more than that. Now keep in mind, betting odds are just exactly. They're not a end to it means to it all. It's really just what people feel comfortable with putting money on. I'm not a betting man, so I don't do that. So as you can see, Switzerland still the number one in the betting odds. They passed Croatia a few weeks ago. I think, was it during Amsterdam in concert or London? One of the parties, I don't remember which one, where they were all impressed with his live performance and boom, it went up. Croatia still sitting pretty in second place. And the Netherlands worked up their way these past few days and last week or so. It was Madrid. Thank you, everyone. Now into third place. Italy still, as always, high up there with in fourth place. Ukraine dropped a little over the last few weeks into fifth place. Now a 7% chance winning based on the betting odds. France, Israel, Greece, Ireland, and Belgium the rest of the top 10 here. So, and then everybody else has a 1% chance of winning or less if this is still it's something you can look at. The biggest thing, of course, stands out is Sweden. No, back in 15th place, they went down to 16th. I mean, we're splitting hairs right now, but it's still Sweden's worst betting odds situation since they were introduced to Eurovision in 2007, I believe. So yeah, it's certainly not considered a winner. Of course, the running order is not helping going first. But I don't think the song ever was like considered a winner to begin with. It's just a very interesting thing to see. Some other countries, Malta is now considered last in the betting odds. Moldova, San Marino, Portugal, and Luxembourg are the bottom five in terms of winning. Now, keep in mind, these are the betting odds to win the contest. So I know Luxembourg, we're going to look at that in just a moment, actually does much, much better in the qualification odds. Because, this is not about, that means Luxembourg is going to do really badly. It's just not a lot of people think that it's going to win. And that's basically what it represents. So that is something to point out. And then the other ones, yeah, nothing. If you look at this, nothing surprises me too much here, I don't think. Let me see here. Austria was in the top 10 at some point, dropped out a little. Ireland made their way up quite a bit. And then, yeah, the rest. No, I can see that. I honestly, that's nothing to do with my taste right now. I don't see Netherlands winning the contest, even if it's going to do really well on the televote. I don't think the jury's going to put this really high. You can say maybe it's going to be like Cha 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 still got fourth, but I'd be surprised. But I could be wrong. I just don't see Netherlands as a winning candidate. I see Netherlands certainly doing really, really well overall, but winning seems a little far-fetched. IMHO, at least. But let's take a look at the semifinals and see who is supposed to qualify based on the betting odds. And if I don't answer your question right away, forgive me. I'll look at them again. You can repost them in a moment. Croatia and Ukraine in semi one are the clear favorites to qualify, and right behind Lithuania and 1% behind, 95%. No surprise here. Finland, Cyprus is in fifth. Luxembourg is in sixth, as I pointed out. Bottom five in the betting odds to win, right? Looks really bad, but here it seems like a pretty likely qualifier at least. And then Ireland 7. Ireland was like outside the top 10 for the longest time, like in 13th or something like that. And now they're slowly creeping up the list. And I can see with the rehearsals kicking off, that changing even more. And then Poland, Serbia, Australia, rounding up the qualification. Australia sitting at 62%. Then there's a little gap. Portugal is considered the borderline non-qualifier at 53%. And then Slovenia, Azerbaijan, Moldova, and Iceland. So if you ask my opinion on this, I think this is somewhat solid. I think there's, of course, a lot of wiggle room. So nothing is set in stone, right? People can surprise us. As of right now, if you were to ask me, gun to my head, I do believe that Moldova and Ireland are DOA out of all these songs. It's the only two countries I feel like there's no way that they're going to qualify. Azerbaijan has a very tiny chance, but it's also highly unlikely. Slovenia, I have a bad feeling about as well, unfortunately. However, Portugal is absolutely in the running. And if it were up to me, if these were my predictions, Portugal would be in the top 10. I think Portugal would qualify. I think actually the battle will be between Cyprus, Poland, Serbia, Australia, and Portugal. They will battle for those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries or so will battle for 4 spots, and one of them will be the unlucky one. I think this is going to be very close, like between like 8th and 11th place or something like that. So, did I say Ireland, Iceland, whatever I said? You know what I mean. Iceland is dead on arrival, and Moldova is dead on arrival. Ireland will qualify. I think Ireland will most likely qualify. So that's how I feel, my particular feeling. I do think Azerbaijan still has a shot because I do think there is a market for it. I just don't think it's a competitive entry. So that's the only downside for it. Similar to Slovenia almost. So, but yeah. So then let's take a look at the second semi. We have Netherlands and Switzerland, the most likely qualifier. Duh. Greece in third. Armenia fourth, which is a pleasant surprise that they went so high up in the betting odds. Norway, Israel, Belgium, Austria, Estonia, and then Georgia being the borderline qualifier, with Denmark missing out. But according to the betting odds, it seems like the top 10 are set in stone, because Georgia has a 69% qualification rate and then Denmark has a lousy 39%. So the betting odds are pretty unified in the top 10 here. And looking at this, I can mostly agree with this. So definitely, I think anyone that's currently listed in the top 6 is through. I do think Belgium has a really good shot going because the song itself is great. I have some of the live performances people were nervous about, but I'm not too nervous about it. As long as he doesn't mess it up live, I think this is a very likely qualifier. Not a guaranteed, but likely. I do think Estonia is much more likely than the betting odds even show. And then Austria, I have a little caveat there just because it's not an easy genre, and I'm a little worried about that, but she can pull it off, hopefully. But I'm also waiting. But kind of Belgium and Austria, I'm a little bit nervous about, but I have them right now also as a qualifier. And then Georgia, I'm not sure about, actually. I'd love for them to go through at last, right? But I think I think San Marino has actually a really good shot. And I'm not counting out Denmark completely, even Latvia. I don't think Albania and I love Czechia, but Czechia is gonna struggle. I think Albania will struggle. Malta, I'm still surprised it's so unpopular. I thought people were going to like it, but I think Malta may also unlikely. But yeah, so I'm a little, I can see. I think right now I would agree with the top 9, and I think I would replace Georgia with San Marino actually. But I'm not counting on Denmark, even though the song to me is a little on the bland side. Denmark has done this before, right? With a vanilla song, but still going through. And because it's people tend to like that kind of music. It's radio friendly. But yeah. So right now, if you ask me, the top 9 for sure, and then I would replace Georgia with San Marino. But this is all just pre. So I'd love to see some of your thoughts as well on those qualifications. As always, at ESC United in the chat. Let me stop sharing for a second. I see some comments. I love Malta. Wish I could vote in semi too. I think Australia will not qualify. Belgium could be the surprise non-qualifier. Armenia's song is so short. I think Albania could surprise people. And Angela, I was told that Armenia's song will be longer. They may add a dance break for the Eurovision version. It's not. I don't think it has been confirmed yet. We'll see about that. No issues about Armenia song, just a bit puzzled why to keep Russian car model name as their performer's name. Oh, I don't know. I didn't even think about that. I mean, your name is your brand, right? Your band name, your artist name, so it's difficult to change that once you have it established. Because I wanted to change ESC United at some point, but ultimately I didn't do it because people recognize that name. What are your shock non-qualifiers and shock qualifiers? As I mentioned before, I think San Marino is, to me, a shock qualifier because a lot of people don't expect that. Shock non-qualifier could be Belgium in my book if it doesn't come together right. Let me look at the semi 1. Shock non-qualifier. Could Finland be considered a shock non-qualifier or not? Because I could see a universe that people think it's too silly and stupid, and it will not click with the people. That being said, it's the only true fun song in the second half, because the first half in my book of Summer 1 is so strong that there's no way that all songs from the first half will qualify. So I feel as Finland would be a surprise shock non-qualifier for me. And then Azerbaijan would be a shock qualifier for me. So that is what I'm thinking. Interesting. Sorry, there's no way Cyprus is the 5th most likely to qualify. It's early ASF. It's super unlikely for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to all qualify, and Serbia and Lithuania are in. So I'm a little bit nervous about Serbia for the same reason as you mentioned. Cyprus, I agree. Cyprus is a little bit high in the betting odds for me in terms of qualification. But so Serbia is for me kind of where I expect it to be. I think it's a little bit of not uphill battle for Serbia. It's not a certainty for Serbia. It's a really pretty song, but it's also very mellow and early in the running. And I don't know. I had a similar. So last year, you may remember Luke Black. I actually last minute after the rehearsals, I put Luke Black in my 11th place as qualifier. I had a really bad feeling about Serbia not qualifying, and people got so mad at me. And then, sure enough, he did qualify, but I wasn't off. He came in 10th place. So I knew there was a little bit of a disconnect. I'm worried with Serbia something similar could happen, only because we only have televote. I think Serbia could do really well with the juries, but we need to remember it's a televote only. So, and I would feel more comfortable about Serbia if the first half wasn't so filled with some of the favorites. Croatia, Ukraine, Lithuania, Ireland. A long, strong lineup. And Luke Black was amazing last year. I agree. Was one of my favorites. Was in my top 10. So yeah. So Cyprus and Serbia are a little bit on my potentially not making it. But Cyprus, I still have a qualifier just a little lower. I would think like 8th, 9th place for Cyprus. But let's wait for the rehearsals. It's going to be interesting. So, I think I should talk a little bit about, I always do that video, and I never had time this time around. So, you asked for it, so you shall receive. I am going to officially give you, for the year 2024, Matt's top 10. Keep in mind, there are a gazillion disclaimers. My personal taste does not represent ESC United as a whole on my team or whatever. It's just based on me liking songs. This is not based on any sort of like jury hat putting on it's just the songs I like the most. Nothing really to, over analyze. So I will share those with you. Also, it is so difficult already to pick 10 songs out of like 37. So I refuse to rank them. So I'll only give you my personal top 10, but in no particular order. My camera's frozen? Okay. So let's give it a second. If it doesn't unfreeze within the next minute or so, next few seconds, I will have to restart real quick. So I'll be gone for like 10 seconds. Okay. So let me refresh. I'll be right back. Hello. Let me know, chat, if it is better now. So I don't know what's going on. My internet says it's perfect, but it may be the software that is acting up. So thank you for letting me know. So every once in a while, I guess I have to refresh it. That's annoying. All right. So yeah, just let me know if that happens again, and I'll do another refresh. So I lost my train of thought. Oh, the top 10. So I'll share with you my top 10. There will be in no particular order. So keep that in mind. And I had my list up for them. No, I didn't bring it up. So I don't remember. I just put that together like last minute as well. I procrastinated and didn't put the list together until the very last second. So I don't even remember who is in my top 10. There you go. I'll bring the list up here right now. Okay. So once again, the first country I mentioned doesn't mean it's my favorite or my 10th favorite. It's just somewhere in my top 10. Are you ready? The first country that is in my personal top 10. Oh, I've seen that flag before. It's Italy. Yes, I don't even going to pretend. What's up with Italy, by the way? Always sneaking into my top 10 without even trying. They make it look so easy. It's like they're having the secret pact with my musical soul or something. They've been camping out in my top pick since forever, and except for that one time. And guess what? It was the year that they won, ironically, right? So maybe putting them into my top 10 is a curse in disguise, but I'll take my chances. I just love the song. It's a certified banger. It's about time we see some female representation up in here. And no offense to my dudes, of course, they brought the A game every single year. Always love them. Just, for once, switching up a little doesn't hurt. Juries, seriously though, juries, please don't mess this up. At least counting on you to keep the slayage going. And I don't want you to stop them. They're so good. So that is my first country in my top 10. Who else has it in their top 10? Raise your hand or say something. You should check out some. My first place, Italy, Mix Bob only. I like Italy. Agreed, one of the most original songs this year. I don't think they will win, but that's okay. Of course, Italy would be in the top three. Me, there's a hand raised. So that is good. So I'm not alone. Now, keep in mind, I will have maybe some. Can you have controversial favorites? Maybe not mainstream favorites. So don't think I'm gonna go down like the Eurovision ranking one here. So there are some obvious ones though. So because they're popular for a reason. So Italy is in my top 10. Yay this yay. So the next country I have on my list, also in my top 10, somewhere in my top 10. Let's bring up the flag. Maybe I should move over a little so you can see the flag. Doesn't block me. Huh? Ah, it's Switzerland. And come on, who wouldn't put Nemo in their top 10? You must be a certified meanie or something. I'm kidding. You're allowed to have a taste. Seriously, though, it's a bold move. And it's paying off. It's a fantastic singer, daring choice. And the studio version, first of all, talking about it's like a gourmet meal to my ears. It is just, it's like, mwah. But mark my words, when this hits the stage, the live stage, with the amazing vocals that you've heard and a great staging we know it's going to have, it's going to be a banquet for my senses. And Switzerland sitting pretty at the top of the betting odds, as we all saw right now. And honestly, I can really practically see them building like a fortress of Swiss chocolate around their favorite status. This is the only Swiss reference that could come to me right now. That is sad. Now, as for me, I've already declared bankruptcy in advance. So just to afford a ticket to next year's contest in Zurich or wherever we may end up, because Switzerland is expensive. But Switzerland ain't playing around this year, and both the song and the expenses are top notch. So I'm a big fan of Switzerland, and it's in my top 10. Let's see what other people's are saying. 100%. Someone says, eek, it's in my 18th. I can see maybe people being a little bit like, it's a little much. Switzerland is amazing. This year's is my third after week and clicked with me and jumped 15 places. It's got layers and definitely not boring. My 16th, my winner. I can stand why you're all Switzerland like so much. It's such a basic English song. I go if you don't like it, but I would not call it basic. You can call it a lot of things, but basic, I don't know. So yeah, my third, Nemo stock quality gonna win big time, Mark is saying. All right, so I think it's like 83 out of 4 say yes. That's a pretty good number. But yeah, it's in my top 10 for sure. But Switzerland, off you go. We're done with talking about you. That's 2 out of 10. We got 8 more to go. Guess? No, don't guess. I'll tell you right now. Also, my top 10 somewhere. Could be first, could be 10th. I don't know. Croatia. No, Croatia bringing the heat with Baby Lasagna, right? I mean, first of all, I love saying that name. I love his stage name. But let's be real. To me, it's the best thing that came out of Croatia in terms of Eurovision this past 25 years. And I'm not even sorry to say that. No offense to all the other acts, but this is so good. It's on a mission to conquer Eurovision. It has conquered Croatia in such a way, and it's just going to go beyond. And we might talk even about a potential win here while we're at it. And me, though, I'm not trying to aim too much for the stars. A top 3 would be totally fine with me. I just want Croatia in that top 3 because it would be the best result at the contest ever. And that would be just its own victory by itself. Sure, a win would be nice, but let's take baby lasagna steps at a time. See what I did there. Now, can we talk about, by the sheer brilliance of the silliness of the song? Selling a cow, leaving the cat behind. Now, that's what I call art imitating life. And it's like a tongue-in-cheek anthem for like all these young Croatians leaving home for greener pastures out there, just wrapped up in a heck of a banger of a song. So, Croatia, you did it this time. You did it. So good. So good. Winner, lasagna dinner, Kim Slice is saying. Liza is saying, my 5th place would be very happy to see it win, but I swear to good if the broadcaster SHITS the bed with the staging just outside my top 10, but would be happy if they win. 2nd place, creative, fun, and relatable. So we have a good amount of support here. So yes, Croatia, looks like Team United overall here. We most of us like it. Oh, let's get some other opinions. I like it, but I just don't think it's fun enough. At least with the live staging, I think other songs this year will do better with casuals than this will. We don't know completely the staging yet. We've only seen Adora. So I get what you're saying. Just like with any song, I can understand that. But let's see what they know. Croatia knows. The team knows this is the year to deliver, right? Certain countries that haven't had always a chance to really be like a contender, they really step it up. And like Cyprus did in 2018, they're usually not like a contender, but that year they knew they had something and they really put all of their efforts into it, and that happens. So far, Italy, Switzerland, and Croatia in my top 10, and it's time to move on. So, Croatia. Shush. Okay. All right. I feel like it's time to get a little bit more polarizing because some of these first three choices were a little obvious, right? Pretty high in the betting odds everywhere. Everyone loves it. Also, my top 10. Ah, if you followed my live streams lately, you're not surprised to see Ireland in my top 10. And I know you're living a lie. I live for this. I live for this. And props to them, first of all. Ireland being a little bit more daring, I guess. They're taking a risk instead of sticking to the whole, tried and tested and failed attempt of like 90s mid-tempo songs or those schmaltzy ballads. They decided to shake things up this time around with Doomsday's Blues. And they said, basically, let's just roll the dice and see where they land. And I'm all for it. Let me tell you, watching the video was, to me, I did a live reaction, was for me just a cinematic masterpiece moment. I swear my jaw hit the floor. It left a dent. It was just like, now, whether Ireland qualifies or not, honestly, I'm at a point, I'm like, who cares? I mean, I care, but it's not to me like they went out there, they tried something new, and I'm just here swooning over it. Absolutely. So, my Irish pals out there, don't worry if things don't go out as planned. You took a leap of faith, for the lack of a better term, and I might be here right with you, loving every minute of it. Ireland in my top 10. It's also been quite some time since that happened. I'm scared to look at the comments now. I still really hate that song. I'm sorry. Liza says, my third place. They have to qualify. They have to. Ireland could go back to songs like We Are One. Exactly. That's what I was implying there. I think they finally deserve to qualify this year. Maria is saying, Kim is saying, last place for me. Sorry. Boo! Now that is quite all right. We all are allowed to have our tastes. Evie has Ireland in the bottom 5. I get it. It's one thing about Ireland you can say for sure, it's polarizing. And you rather want to have a polarizing song than a mid song, because mid songs, no one cares. You cannot vote against the song. This is not Big Brother. So, yeah. But it has hopefully enough support to actually make the cut. And it would be well deserved, in my opinion. So, that is the next song on my list. So time for you to go, Ireland. And we're moving on to the 5th country on my list that is in my top 10. And that one is France. All right. France bringing the A game, at least in Junior Eurovision, for like God knows how long. They've won 12 times the last 10 years or something like that, right? It's just ridiculous. And they're like the Michael Jordan of Junior now. Maybe not basketball. I should make basketball references. That's really out of my area of expertise. But mark my words, 2024 might be just their year to shine again. I mean, come on. Can you even imagine any other country outvoting France in the jury vote? Maybe some people will say Switzerland, but I'll still stick. This is France, the jury. And let's not even get started with the potential televote surprise this could have. It's like France casually strolling to victory. Absolutely. And I always forget how to pronounce his name. Slimane? Buddy. Let's call you Buddy. You're on my radar. And your song's a masterpiece. Absolutely. It's like a roller coaster of emotions to me. Oh, and with vocals that could move mountains and melodies that are just right up my alley. I don't know what else to say about this one. I'm head over heels in love with France from the very first listen, and this love affair ain't ever gonna get old. So France, yes, did it again. Once again in my top 10. Sleiman. Okay, I was close enough. Most banal song name ever award for banal. How dare you, Gil? How dare you? Get out of here. No, don't. No, I feel the opposite. I think it's just wonderful. Wonderful. France is good, but I'm probably not gonna vote for it. That is okay. I will. Maybe not. I want to spend money voting. So I see the same recipe for a third year in a row. It's a no for me. How is that song even similar to the last few songs? I don't see that comparison at all. Agreeing with Matt so far. Thank you so much. There will be some disagreements coming up. Don't worry. Not in my top 10. Thought I can appreciate its beauty. It's just so typical French, which is a good thing in my book. Oh, wow. It seems like a little bit more divided on this one, but that is okay because, you are allowed to be wrong every once in a while. Now, let's move on. Much love and respect to everyone and the act as well. So I am a big, big fan of France. Who else is next? Oh, yes. Let me find that flag for you. I want to find out who else is in my top 10. Let's get some opinions in here. In the house. Have you checked out the direct qualifiers lately? I mean, UK, come on. Solid stuff. And let's just talk about the UK. They are hitting all the right notes for me with this song. I mean, Dizzy, it's like, I said it before, I think in my reaction, it's like the love child between Erasure and Pet Shop Boys, and I'm here for the retro beat. Absolutely. It's not an instant party anthem as some of the other songs, and that's not the idea behind the song anyways, but that chorus, ooh, I can't get enough. It's like a catchy earworm, and you just can't shake it off. And don't even get me started on the staging potential on this one. It's endless. It's endless. I can already see Ollie rocking the stage like it's 1985 all over again. Maybe not 85, but late 80s. Retro vibes for the win. That's all I can say. UK Pelts, you nailed it this time around in my book. Now, I feel like getting into a time machine and enjoying the 80s or 90s, early 90s. It's just so good. It's just so good. And I'm happy. Let's see some comments here. Not a bad song from the UK this year. I like it. Just outside my top 10, but with good staging might make it to the top. I love the UK song, but I fear it's going to flop. It feels a little bit too nice. And that's fair. Not good, Chris. That's a fair comment. I'm not predicting it to be in the top 10. Very important. I'm also a little worried about its chances at the contest, but in the studio version, it's on my playlist all the time. So I am a fan. I have UK in my top 10. Well, I thought I was the only one just missing out on my top 5, sadly. Hey, top 10 is good. Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it. I love the UK song, but if it's... Oh, that we already had that one. Okay, so I see actually a lot more people like it, actually. There's not a lot of polarizing. Either like it or just okay with it. So that is great. So we have 6 down. 4 to go. Are you still waiting for some of your favorites to be in my list? Keep in mind, this is just my list. If your favorites aren't in mine, it's okay. Because it gets boring if we all agree. We want to, it's a competitive year from what we're seeing, right? So we all allowed to have different favorites. All right, let me find the 7th country, because speaking of retro, we have to talk Austria. It's in my top 10. They're bringing back the 90s techno rave vibes. And first of all, We Will Rave should have kicked off the semi. I don't know what the producers were thinking. That was the perfect number to start the show. It's just a delicious flashback to my childhood. Tamagotchis, dial-up internet. That was, my thing when this music was on. It's like a time machine strapped to a beat, taking me to simpler glow stick waving times, and I'm running out of 90s references. I'm done. I don't know what else to say, but I mean, it's very danceable. I mean, come on. How can you not? I'm not a dancer, but I want to dance to this. And Austria, listen up. You better knock off our socks with the song. It's not an easy song to perform live. We've seen like certain similar genres before at Eurovision, and it just doesn't work live. So I'm nervous about Austria's chances, but the song in the studio version, yes. I have my fingers, toes, and even eyes crossed for you, because I want to see that in the finals. Bring on the neon lights. There's another 90s reference for you. And then it's all I can think of, and then rave away. So yeah, I love Austria this year. Um, let's see here. Not in my top 10. Her vocals were weak, supported by backing vocals mostly. Fair, Susanna, but I just base it on the studio version, the song itself. I didn't go in to watch all those performances. Matt, I don't expect to agree with you. I don't miss rave from the 90s. I was more grunge. Well, it's very funny. I was everything. I was huge grunge. Nirvana was my music, right? That kind of stuff, right? I had a very broad taste. I liked all kinds of music. Uh, Punk, grunge, hard rock was mostly my go-to because I was an angry, sad teenager. But I did love having some of that music in my life as well. It takes me to very specific times. So yeah, keep in mind what I have in here. I have zero any live performances of vocals live have no impact on this for me. So I did not watch it. I like Austria, but I think it might be a bit boring live, depending on the live, of course. Exactly, and that is my concern as well. Yeah. So I see a lot of people referring to the live performances. So, guys, that is a concern because she said, she's a dancer, not a singer. So that's not a good thing at Eurovision. You can dance for 3 minutes all you want. You need to hit the notes. You did the vocals. So yeah, we'll see. But it's in my top 10 based on music. So let's move on. I got 3 left, and I'm ready to surprise you here a little. Who else is in my top 10? Song number 8. That doesn't mean it's in 8th place or in 3rd place. It's just somewhere in there. Some people will be surprised. Yeah, I know what you're all saying. Listen, I don't understand. Why aren't more people hyping this up? What's wrong with you all? This song, it just hooked me. This song hooked me like a fish. From the first listen, I liked it immediately. But no, here I am listening to all your comments like forgettable and who this and generic. And well, let me tell you something. This tune has been on repeat on my list more time than I care to admit. And sure, I'm scratching up my head a little bit thinking how they're going to stage this. No chessboards. No chessboards. We all know by now you don't know how to play chess. But I just love the song. It's like ranking wise, it's sitting pretty in my top 10 here easily. And I was shocked. I was like, oh, well, people are going to love this one. And then I looked at all the comments and I'm banal, boring, whatever. And I'm like, you're boring, banal, and whatever. I love this song and I wish more people will like it. Maybe it'll surprise more people. Sarah saying it's in my top 10. Ella saying, finding someone that likes Poland. I love it. Oops, and no one else seems to like it in my top 10. That's how I felt. I'm like, I thought this would be super liked, and then people don't like it. Yeah, they bring Magnus Carlsen on stage, and then I unironically vote for this entry. Magnus Carlsen. Hey, whatever you need to do. So I see some love for Poland in here as well. So, because I saw in the betting odds and fan polls, it's so far down in the list, and I'm like, gross. This deserves so much more. So, it's just, yeah, I love it. So, all right, moving on. I only got 2 left. Are you nervous? All right, I'm gonna give you the next one here. But first, I gotta get rid of Poland. Not literally, not like I'm not doing anything to Poland, just the flag right now. And then the 9th country on my list. Where's the flag? Right here. Ready? Armenia is in my top 10. And confession time, first of all. When I first listened to that song, I was like, oh, that's cute. Not top 10 material, though, right? And here I am, or here they are, I should say, chilling just in my top 10 easily. Like it owns the place. I just swear, it's like the simplicity and the genuine vibes of the song. It just sneaks up on you and plants itself in your brain. Like it's always there in my head. And normally I'd be rolling my eyes at too many la la la's and lay lay lays and all of that stuff. But here it's like they found the secret formula to make it work. Absolutely. It's just pure, heartwarming goodness. And I'm here for it, every second of it. And can I just talk about how ridiculously likable that duo is? They're so fun, and I just want to give them a hug. They're so adorable. Armenia, it's been a hot minute since you've been in my top 10. I want to say a decade. But here you are, and you're welcome with open arms. Now, excuse me. Well, I'll leave and hum la lay 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 for the rest of the day because it's now stuck in my head again. So I love it. I absolutely love it. It just never gonna Stop in my head. I would love to see what y'all have to say. I like Armenia just outside my top 10. It's my 10th, very catchy, and definitely will win the Balkans. I find it fun. This will be top 10 in the televote. Interesting choice. Armenia was interesting song this year, but not enough for Q. Not for Q. It'll qualify, Anna. Wow, how dare you? This is your standard Eastern European festival banger. I guess I love, and they're done right. I really like them. I'm not going to lie. So I like it. I feel like it's gonna be even better live. I know, as I mentioned before, they will probably add a little bit more to the song because it's very short right now. Maybe like a little dance number. I don't know. Not like what you think a dance break like, we see like at Eurovision these days, but in their own little way. So yeah, I am a big fan of Armenia. That means I have only one country left. 9. I have one to go in my top 10 in no particular order. Before we do this, I know I'll disappoint you anyways, but who do you think is my last country? Just take a wild guess. One country. Who do you think will be in my top 10 based on some of my reactions if you've watched and my comments on social media, or just what you know about my taste? Who is the last country? San Marino, David is saying. To me, I'd have some coffee. Another San Marino by Rory. Shawn says Georgia. Lauren says Estonia. So we got Belgium, Portugal, Czech. Oh, wow. No one knows. Georgia. So I see a lot of San Marinos mentioned. So interesting. Croatia, somebody already mentioned Croatia. So Croatia is in my top 10. I wouldn't even pretend taking this one last because everyone knew it would be Croatia. All right, here goes. I'll find the flag. I'm not going to make you wait anymore. Now, if it's not the one you want, sorry. Where's the flag? Oh, here it is. All right. For the last time, my 10th song in the top 10. Not my 10th song. It's the 10th song on my list, but it doesn't mean it's my 10th place. You got my point. It is Estonia. One of you got it at least right. It is. And let's be real. I wouldn't even dare to attempt to pronounce that song title, even if you paid me, because, no. But hey, this was a shocker to a lot of people. For this gem somehow snuck up their way into my top 10, and everybody thought I was going to hate it. Right. And then here I am busting out the dance moves. Right. And like nobody's business. There's just something irresistibly charming about this song. And it's like winking you from a sea of serious contenders, and just stands out for that reason alone. Do I understand a single word of the song? Absolutely no. Do I care? Heck no. Who cares? Because I'm telling you, I'm having the time of my life listening to this and watching this. That's just the power of music, right? I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Consider me head over heels in love with this quirky, unpronounceable winner. So that rounds up my top 10. Once again, in no particular order. Let's see. Hell no, that is not qualifying. No way. Thank God it's only televote. Well, the televote is going. Of course, that is qualifying, right? Yeah, no, that's going to qualify. My 4th, Latvia. Gabe's influence, ha. So Sarah, I had a live reaction video, and I had no idea what Gabe's opinion was, and we both really liked it. I know that he loves it. I learned that already, but that's just a coincidence here. I love it so much. It's in my top 5. Even it's underrated. I love it. It's in my top 15. Estonia is my first place. It's amazing. So some people I pleased at least. Okay. Some people are not happy, but that is okay. That is okay. I just love that song. And I can see why people wouldn't like it. I know it's out there, similar to what Ireland, it's polarizing, and you rather want to be polarizing than mid. And that what is Estonia is delivering. I think I said before, Estonia has a Moldova 22 potential. It's probably going to flop with the juries, but I could see a top 5 in the televote for sure. But I think it's fun. So before I answer some of the other questions that you have, I want to give some shout out to some of my other songs that I couldn't quite put into. There's so many songs that I'm like, oh, you should be in the top 10. I love Luxembourg, and I like Azerbaijan, but it's not a competitive song, but it's one of the most chill songs I have this year. San Marino, I love Belgium, Lithuania. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Serbia, and it's just I couldn't do it. So somebody asked for a recap real quick. Again, in no particular order, my top 10. This is not in order. Italy, Switzerland, Croatia, Ireland, France, United Kingdom, Austria, Poland, Armenia, and Estonia. So those are the 10 that I squeezed in. As said, Lithuania, Belgium, Serbia, and Pippi mentioned, I love them. They're in my top 15 probably. I haven't done a top 15. I just remember I couldn't squeeze Greece in. There's so many of them I couldn't get in. Where is Europapa? In the Netherlands. So people of course ask about, so time to piss more people off. Better get some caffeine in. Europapa is not my favorite song this year, unfortunately. I put Finland and Netherlands in the same bucket for me. I love 90s music, but both Europapa and No Rules give me these vibes of songs that maybe would have come 40th place in 1995. So I cannot get behind these songs as much as some people like. I like them, they're fun, but they're not like in my favorite category. I just, it's just kind of for me. So yeah, it's not a bad song. It's just not quite for me. So, but this is not, no hate. I cannot see all what people see in the Grease song. It's an absolute mishmash. They're saying, so I agree. It's an absolute mishmash and it's a hot mess. And that's why I'm drawn to it. It's like, you watch a car burn, like a train wreck, and you're just like, oh, it's so much. I can't. I'm like, oh gosh, this is gonna be so good. So I get it. It's too much for people. It's probably too much for me as well. But I'm just enjoying it for that reason. But yeah, I get it. Why it's maybe a little bit much. We all love a little bit hot of a hot mess, right? So any other thoughts on the songs at ESC United in the chat? I'd love to see, but now you at least know my top 10 pre-contest. Now I'm curious to see if anyone truly can win me over live and change my opinion. Somebody asked earlier, have you changed your opinion on one of the songs? I'm really good, not good. It's rare for me. I know whether or not I like a song basically from the first listen. And it's rare that I change my opinion. There's some songs that I think, it's way better if I listen to over headphones or the second time. I think Lithuania, I would say, is probably my biggest grower. I thought it was nice. I didn't get the hype around the song, but the second time I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is actually really good. This is actually really good, and really climbed up in my ranking. And then Australia, I didn't like at all in the beginning. And then I was like, it's actually a pleasant song. Again, maybe not competitive, but it's not a bad song. So there are a few other ones like that. So Netherlands is my number one. It's been the one thing that clicked with me right away. And that's good, Liza. It didn't click with me. I think it reminds me of my childhood. The songs that everyone around me listened to. And I was like, I don't get it. But I do like 90s fun. It's fun. It's going to be great staging. And if the Netherlands does well, then power to them. It's just, I know people are so disappointed with my reaction video when I was kind of like, actually, Roy and Gabe left this one to go last, thinking I was going to love it. And I was like, it's good. But then that was about it. Which song's first rehearsal is going to surprise you, in your opinion, tomorrow? So that's a good question. And let's ask the next question. Now, let me take a look at the schedule for tomorrow. Oh, this is tiny. This is tiny, tiny, tiny. Let me bring this up, blow that up a little. So these are the countries that are rehearsing tomorrow, and me got to put on my glasses for this. Cyprus, Serbia, Lithuania, Ireland, Ukraine, Poland, and Croatia. There are so many big hitters that year, that day. I'm really interested in Ireland, Ukraine. Well, Ukraine not as much because I kind of have an idea. I want to see what Poland and Croatia are doing. So in terms of staging, I'm mostly interested in Ireland, Poland, and Croatia. I think that they could really do a lot and excite me. If they're going to do that, that remains to be seen. But that was my answer. What's your opinion on the Ireland song? I think you missed my my comments from a few minutes ago. It's in my top 10. It's in my top 10. So yeah, that is basically my top 10. And happy to answer more questions about that. As a reminder, tomorrow is the very first dress rehearsal. We'll be here live. The live link will go up shortly. I just didn't have time because, again, I was traveling these past few days. And and we'll see if tomorrow if Croatia is still in it to win it. Yes and no. So I agree, but I remember those who were around in 2018 remember Israel's Netta Toy. People were just like lukewarm about her rehearsal, and then she dropped a little bit in the betting odds, and then she still won by a significant margin. So it's not everything. People get a little bit overhyped about it. And it can go the other way as well. I remember in 2018 as well, I think the year was the people of overreacting with rehearsals. Suri from the UK, you know how she had a stage invasion and people thought, oh, she's going to get sympathy votes. She may win. All of a sudden she jumped into 6th or 7th place in the betting odds. Or Ireland being like 3rd in the betting odds because they were a surprise qualifier. You know, people just go crazy with that kind of stuff. So I try not to read too much into it. You can sometimes get a vibe, you know, where you're like, oh, this is not going well. Examples are like, for instance, Roxanne in 21. We could see, oh, this is, or Greece last year. We're just like, so you have those moments, and we may get those as well, but we have to wait and see. Yeah. So will there be rehearsal clips tomorrow? Somebody's asking. We have TikTok clips, but we'll be here live streaming as well for several hours tomorrow throughout the day, and we'll share those TikToks with you. So make sure to be here when we're live. It'll be me and a few of my team members as well. People overreact with their pre-parties. They're just there to have fun. Exactly. And I always bring up some examples for context. And I remember in 2019, Switzerland, Luca Hani, he had a really bad, I wouldn't say really bad, less than ideal performance in Amsterdam. He was dancing so hard that he was out of breath and a little bit off. And be like, oh, well, Switzerland's not going to qualify. And we all know how well he did at Eurovision. Those parties are not representative necessarily of what's going to happen at Eurovision. Sometimes you get a little inkling because, you know, May Muller last year, people were immediately like, oh, but it's not always the case. That's not Lorraine Snowflake. I remember that. That was so long ago. Can't believe it's been 12 years since she's won. Well, it's been 1 year since she's won, but the first time when Lorraine swallowed a snowflake during the jury rehearsals, she was like, woo-hoo, and she did this. And then she continued to perform. And everyone thought it was like, oh no, oh no. And then, you know, it had 0 impact. So yeah, that was I mean, we live for these overreactions, right? Some people read into it. That's why even when you do like live stream reactions, it's people tend to be a little bit overly concerned. I remember, oh gosh, we went a little viral that year, unintentionally. It was just a bad timing. Going back to Roxanne from Romania when she was singing her song, and it was so off and so bad. I know. I remembered Shawn, Gabe, and I were on camera, and we all made faces. I was doing this, Gabe was doing this, and Shawn was doing this. And it went, put that on Romanian media all over the place, and people. Oh gosh, I will never ever forget that. But I love these moments. Anyways, I think we talked a lot about what's going to happen over the next week and tomorrow in particular, and some of my thoughts, predictions, favorites, etc. Let's do a short little open session. So any questions you have at ESC United in the chat. And if I don't see them, I'll just do it for a few minutes. Let me know. Do you think Bambi Thug can win that images? That's a lot. I don't think so. It's not going to be like a Lordy moment where you think like this, crazy visuals will immediately like give a win. The difference is with also like Lordy basically had like a pop Schlager sound song wrapped in like a little more hard rock sound. This is a very different sound that will not work for everyone. It's not a sing-along song. So I don't think it's going to win, but it could do a lot better than some people will think. So that is my thinking. Where is Shawn? Miss him in videos. Shawn, I can't stand that guy. I was like, you're out. You're fired. Get out of here. And I will never talk to you again. And of course, I would never say to him, I love Shawn. And unfortunately, Shawn is busy. Shawn, after Eurovision in Liverpool, moved to Canada. So he lives at basically on my side neck of the woods. So his life has completely changed, and his priorities in life has changed a little bit. So he has taken a step back from Eurovision, which includes ESC United for the time being. So he's not around this year. He may return in the future, right? I'm still always in touch with once ESC United, always ESC United. But yeah, he's unfortunately not around this year. I also miss him dearly. He has been with the team since 2015, so almost 10 years. So it is sad. What hour tomorrow is the live stream? So I'm probably going to start at 2 p.m. Central European time, most likely. um, I'm probably biased, but I do think Yost can do better with the juries that people think. With the right staging and momentum, stream semi, he might be jury top 10. I can see that. I'm not saying he cannot be top 10. I just don't think it's going to be enough to win. Because you would have to be at a bare minimum top 4, I think, with the juries, unless something really crazy happens. So I don't think he's going to completely flop with the juries, or at least there is no that's not set in stone. So I want to be clear about that. I just don't. If I had to put money down, I would not put down Netherlands as the winner. So, and we'll see. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. If the big 5 are performing in the semis, why are they waiting so long to rehearse? I was thinking about that as well. I thought that they would actually going to have him in the running with them, but honestly, there's no evidence, so I'm just speculating right now. That's number one. That's how they've been doing it, and number 2, I don't think they want to be there that early, because the big 5 usually rehearse last. Therefore, they don't have to be at Eurovision and spend all that extra money on rehearsals, right? And you have too many people there, so that way they can have them come in a little later. But I thought they were actually going to have them there the entire time as well. So, but yeah, that did not happen. Okay, what's your opinion on Ukrainian song? In my opinion, they're overrated this year. Okay, so one word I will not use is overrated, because it always seems like a word used that, when just because I don't like a song or I love a song, it's overrated, underrated. I personally don't have it. It's not, it's to me, it's okay. I'm not quite sure. I'm not behind the hype either, myself. I find it a little on the generic side. I think when people click with it emotionally, then maybe it works. But it's just like this same melody, dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum, and then again and again and again. So it gets a little repetitive for me. But it's not a bad song. It's just it doesn't grab me emotionally, and it's not high up in my ranking, unfortunately. But that's just a personal taste thing. It's just a personal taste. What do you think of Cyprus? Cyprus is a little bit more of a guilty pleasure, for the lack of a better word. I will say that it's maybe not the most sophisticated pop. It's a very Eurovision friendly song, right? It's pop, it's fun, it's a great opener and all that stuff. So I think that I have fun with the song. I will not, if I were a jury member, I would be like, there are certain things that I would downgrade it for. But as a normal person, I'm like, it's fun. It's just a fun banger. So I don't overthink it. It's not like top 10 material for me in terms of favorites, but it's good. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. What do you think about Sweden? The country? Love it. I've been there several times. I assume you're referring to the song. Yeah. I mean, I was one of the few people, I guess, who didn't like their last song either, Air, from last year. This year, I didn't like it either. It just gives me Benjamin Ingrosso, but I don't like the staging, first of all. It really reminds me of Benjamin Ingrosso. It's so dark and fleshy, it gives me seizures. I didn't even like looking at the screen. That's how uncomfortable I was. The song itself is just a little bit too manufactured. So I did not feel it. It's just not my song. But I will say that those 2 young guys, so nice, so excited to be part of this experience, and I wish them nothing but the best. I would never ever root against the song that just because I don't care for it. But yeah, it's not for me. Do you think we could have 7 qualifiers in a row for the first half or of semi 1? I don't think we ever had 7 in a row before. No, we don't, because it is a reality. It's not quite as impactful in the semis, but it is still a thing that later songs in the running tend to do better. For multiple reasons, even though some people still deny it, like the Earth is flat deniers. But I agree, it's going to be hard for all 7 songs from the first half in semi one to qualify. And I think most of us can agree it's a very strong first half. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit worried about songs like Cyprus and Serbia. Potentially losing some of that because there's so much competition right after that. But I hope I'm wrong because both of them deserve to qualify. It's just a matter not of what I like, but what I want is a different story. Man, what is your shock winner this year? Minus Australia. I feel like they're holding back now a phenomenal Malmo performance. They could come descending down from the ceiling naked and with fireworks and all of these things. The song itself is just not strong enough. I think it is an album song. I wouldn't an album filler a little bit. It's not a bad song. I actually quite find it soothing. Similar vibes as like Azerbaijan, not the song that I go like crazy over, but it has its place in terms of my playlist. But it's just not a winner. So that would be my percent. I don't see. I do believe it could do better than a lot of people anticipate, but winning that's a bridge too far. I can see Switzerland winning by a good margin. They are so charismatic and vocals are superb, and with their storytelling, it will be dynamic. I will wait for the staging. I can agree with you. Oh, I could at least see your opinion right now. I'm falling a little bit into a repeat of 2021. Potential jury winner, a little lower, like 6 or 7 like with the televoters. But I see a universe where Switzerland can easily be 4th or 3rd or even higher with the televoters. So anyone who considers Sweden a guaranteed non-winner, come on. It doesn't mean they have to win, but they're absolutely in contention. There's a reason why they're also in the betting odds high up there. I'm not quite as confident that they're the likely winners, but I will wait for the rehearsals. It is definitely yeah, for sure. I feel like with the early rehearsals these days and with greater producer placement, there's a lot of less chance for surprise winners. There's not enough time for momentum to build for the non-phase. Exactly, Jamie. That is not a beautiful. Well, it is beautifully sad in some ways, that statement. I could not agree more with that, and we should put that somewhere pinned in a place. Melody Festival, and when was the last time the non-favored won? It's rare. It happens every once in a while, every blue moon, but it's rare. In Melfest, usually the betting odd favorite wins, and Eurovision has been more and more that case as well. We haven't had a surprise winner in so long for that exact reason. And with now the producers having almost the entire say of the running order with a few exceptions, because they get like a few first halves, a few second halves, the rest is all up for grabs. For the producers, it's going to have a huge impact. And I'm a huge hater of this rule. And it's just unfair. And people are like, well, it's a TV entertainment show. It's also a competition. That is the most important thing. And there's not an issue with same style songs canceling each other out. It's just ridiculous. So yes. So if like Albania qualifies and it's going to go second again rather than last, if they would have drawn in that spot, of course it's going to make a difference. You want to go for that again? Why it makes a difference? I think not. And don't get me all riled up. I get fired up. What will it take for Sweden to take more risks? Whittlesbach, what will take for Sweden to take more risks? I mean, number one, do they have to take risks? Look at their recent track record. I mean, it's pretty darn good. So why fix something that's not broken, at least in terms of results? If you only care about results, you're good to go. And keep in mind, Melfest is not just for Eurovision, even though it is the winner. Melfest often is watched by more people in Sweden than the actual Eurovision Song Contest. And they delivering to a different market. And they like that kind of music. And they do well on the charts. So it's a little bit more complicated. Now, in terms to take a more risk, I think for them to change up their attitude and behavior, they need to end up having songs not qualifying, kind of like what happened in 2010. They had a little bit of a dry run from like 2007 to 2010 for the most part, right? Even though they qualified here and there, they had fairly bad results in the finals even. In 2007, they were directly qualified, and they came like second side of the scoreboard, got barely any points aside from their usual friends. In 2018, they didn't even qualify if it wasn't for the juries giving them the wild card. In 2019, they came bottom 5 even. 2009, excuse me. In 2010, they didn't even qualify. So something like that would have to happen for them to probably really change things up. So, but that is, it's not going to be a next year thing. So, yeah. And don't even start with the whole sending a song in Swedish. Not once. Not once since they got rid of the language rule have they sent anything in Swedish. So, yeah, I am not going to even hold my breath there. So, what do you think about Germany finishing 5th in the Euro jury? So, yeah, okay. A lot of people consider me like some Eurovision expert. I do not pay attention to the Euro jury and even like who is on the Euro jury. You need to tell me more about it. Who is voting in that one? Is that like where the artists and all of us vote and some songwriters? So, but whoever votes in that one, I can only repeat what I said on my previous shows. Germany has potential. I think people being a little too harsh on Germany. I think the song is solid. It's not a bad song. It's quite catchy. It's radio friendly, but not that generic in my book. Not that outstanding, don't get me wrong, but it has absolutely jury appeal. And I kept saying that, and I'll keep saying that. It has a lot going for it. It has a Swedish vibe to me that usually, if this was Sweden, people would be like, yeah, well, it's going to be top 5 in the juries, that kind of thing. So I'm not saying it's going to be top 5 in the juries, but I think it's going to has the potential to go left side with the juries. With the televoters, we may have a different story. So as of right now, I do not place Germany as last place in the finals. I know we're talking about low bar. This is so low bar, but I think Germany has more to offer than a lot of people think. And that's coming from me, someone who's always so critical, overly critical of Germany, because, I'm German, I'm allowed. I will say Germany is definitely in my top 20. Maybe even top 15. I don't know. I actually quite like Germany. It's not, again, not a top 10. And as you can see, my top 10 wasn't my top 10. But it is good. I think Sweden needs new producers for the songs as they feel like songs we've heard before. We need something new from Sweden. Yeah, I don't want to do copy and paste what I said before, but it's basically what it is. They need new, fresh blood. I agree with that. But once again, it's working. It's working. We get great results. We got a win last year. We get all these top 10 results left and right for the most part. And even when they don't, they're still in the final. So if I was in charge of Melfest and my sole job duty is to ensure Sweden to do well at the contest, it's that I wouldn't change a thing. But for us, it becomes stale. But with the juries in particular, it works. And even with the televoters, they don't do horrible with the televoters. I feel like there's a risk for a 0-0 this year. Like, I don't dislike the German song, but it reminds me of the UK 21 and 29 so much. Does it? I don't think so. No. Is there a chance it gets 0 points from the televoters? Yeah, I could see that universe happening, but I don't see a universe where it gets 0 points from the juries. He's a good singer. He sings it well, and especially with the backup track and all that stuff, I just don't think that's going to be an issue here. It's all about the televote. So even if Germany were to come last, I highly doubt it'll be with 0 points. I just don't see it happening. Do you think there's a chance some artists will threaten to boycott right before contest? No, not at this point anymore. I don't want to go into too much the details here, but keep in mind that they have agreements and contract signs, and if they wanted to leave, they would have left now, all that stuff. It'll be tough. Maybe but don't hate on the artist. It's a little bit complicated. It's not as simple as, I hate this, I want to quit. So I don't see it happening. How do you foster such a positive team environment? Love the positivity on your team compared to other other sites. How do you foster such positive environment? I don't know. You tell me. Now, seriously, that's just who I am. I'm a positive person, and well, I can be a bitch too. To be fair, like I'm such a nice person in general, but if you cross that line, I'm just like ah. But it's I don't know. I don't allow negativity for the most part, or like mean people. It's not you can be honest, you know. Gabe is plenty honest. Shawn is plenty honest, but they are not rude. So it's all about how you present it. So we wouldn't allow mean people on it in the first place. So that's basically, in a nutshell, I think my approach. Do you want Colleen from Austria to dress sexy or covered up? Well, I want Colleen to dress up the way she feels comfortable dressing. I know this is such a PC answer. Here's the thing. I don't care if she is wearing less or more, whatever she likes to wear, she should wear and what she's comfortable with. I know it sounds like a very like standard answer, but it's true. I mean it in that sense, like when you wear something that you feel comfortable with, you are more confident about yourself. I wear a lot of black, right? That's a color that I like to wear, and I feel more confident and comfortable in that. And so, whatever makes her shine on stage that she feels confident in, that is what she should wear. And if it's more less clothes, that is fine, as long as she doesn't have any wardrobe malfunction that she had at that one party, the pre-party. That was kind of funny. So, let's answer a few more questions. What do you think of Italy having dances on stage with Angelina Mango? It feels no, I didn't know she's going to do that. Oh no, I said that in one of my live streams. Don't send it to dancers. She has such a strong stage presence. She doesn't need it. I know it's a banger and you want to have dancers. What I can see maybe happening, because initially I didn't want to have dancers for Soldi Mahmood either, but it was almost in some ways interpretive dancing to a certain extent, and it worked. So if they do something like that, that's fine. But I don't want to have these, like this 4 backup dancers, what they do with like all these bop dancers and all this stuff. I don't like that. It's not that kind of song to me, even though it's a bop. So hopefully they do it well. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the dancers idea. But prove me wrong, Italy. But yeah, I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out. Have you all forgot that one country from each semifinal will qualify from the jury votes? Have you forgot that one country from each semifinal? Wait, no, they don't. It's only televote. We have a rest of the world vote that will be included in the televote, but that's how it works. Huh? Am I confused? Misunderstanding the question? Oh, that was fake. Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, because it was on social media. I'm like, if that's gonna be true, but yes, that was just a rumor that fortunately did not come to fruition. So now it'll be televote. Matt, will you please ask Roy to marry me? Thank you. Ask him yourself. Get a ring, get on your knees. No, don't. I don't want to put you in an awkward position. Or Roy. So, will you be in Stockholm for Eurovision? First of all, why would I be in Stockholm for Eurovision? It's in Malmö. What we kind of said, like I'm flying all the way to Europe to be in Stockholm and then not be on site. Now I'm going to be home this year. I am going to be home. But we have a local team that will be attending everything. So don't you worry. So once again, I think we had a good chat here. I know that I will have a lot to talk about over the next few days. I'll be here tomorrow and the day after, and the day after, and the day after. And you get the point. So I'll be here for a long time every day since now I don't have a life. I don't even have my dog with me right now. My little puppy, you met him, Gaston. He's currently with a family member until Monday. So I miss him so much because I had to travel for work. I couldn't bring him. So he'll be back Monday, a little ESC United mascot. And but until then, I'm going to miss him. But I don't have much time for him right now. So thanks again, everyone, for just tuning in for this impromptu, getting ready for Eurovision live stream. And tomorrow the real fun starts because this was boring, right? I cannot wait to discuss this, rip them all apart, judge them, and then go home, feel better being judgmental about other people. Now, that's one thing we'll do here. We be respectful. I know that some people consider any sort of criticism disrespectful, but it's not. That's what we do here. You can politely criticize. So have a good night, everyone. Okay, and I will see you all tomorrow. Rested, and let's have some fun. Good night, y'all.